Hello again. It's been a while since I've done any cooking videos. In the middle of the quarantine, we moved to Orlando area, and yeah, I've been settling in the new house. And then my husband bought me this new camera stand to hold my phone over so that I wouldn't have to keep adjusting. So that was awesome, an awesome Christmas present. So I figured today, since I'm not too dressed up, I'm still in my PJs because we're quarantining, trying to get over COVID. I figured I would show y'all my grilled cheese that is actually not grilled, it's oven baked, but it's no less heart healthy. So just a really quick thing. I'm just using whatever cheeses I have on hand. I have sharp cheddar, pepperjack, mozzarella, and then American cheese, and then I crust the outsides with Parmesan, and then the insides I smear with butter, and the outsides I smear with mayonnaise, because mayonnaise has the eggs and the oil in it, so it creates a really a mo better crust for the Parmesan crust. And so I'm just gonna show you how easy and simple it is. Again, you can just use whatever cheeses you have on hand, but I do recommend you switching up, you know, sharp cheeses and mild cheeses and anything that melts really well. And then I always crust the outside with Parmesan. So I'm just gonna get started here. I've got veggies roasting in the oven for my tomato basil, and I'm sure I'll do a video of that. But since my hands are the prettiest thing on me, I figured I'd go ahead and take advantage and learn this new camera and show you how to make my grilled cheese. So again, I just smear the insides of the sandwiches with salted I liked whipped butter because it's just easier to deal with. Plus, I don't like all the extra oil in spreadable butter. So just a generous, I just make sure that each corner has all of the butter. I mean, it's already gonna be very high in calories. So go big or go home, right? So then this side, I usually do this on white bread, but the majority of the time that we buy bread, we buy honey wheat, which is my favorite. I am actually attempting to follow a specific diet plan, and I'm just getting started. I've made several mistakes because there's so much information on this plan. So I'm actually doing a cheese pita to go with my tomato basil soup. So these sandwiches are not for me. Actually, these are for my stepson and my husband. And they've never had my grilled cheeses, so I don't know how much they'll like them, but who doesn't like a grilled cheese, right? I'm sure they'll love them. Okay, so then, like I said, I just do sharp cheddar, that slice. Normally, instead of pepperjack, I would do gouda. I just ran out of gouda slices though, so pepperjack it is. And then what do I do next? Oh, I put this. I like to layer every other layer, like a white and then a yellow cheese and then a white and then a yellow. So on this side, and I just do a little bit of this shredded cheese or this sharp cheddar because I already have sharp cheddar over here. Normally I wouldn't do another sharp cheddar. I just didn't have another yellow cheese, which is where the Gouda would have come in. Or actually, Gouda is more like a it's like a pale pale yellow or something. And then I top it with Parmesan. Okay. And I would normally have regular mozzarella instead of this low moisture. Regular mozzarella obviously has better cheese pull on it, but again, it's what I had. Okay, so instead of being super messy and then smearing this with mayo and then attempting to put the Parmesan on it and then attempting to put it down, I just go ahead and I make like a little spot. I don't know if you can see it. Let me move it around. Yeah, there we go. So I make like a little spot here for my Parmesan where the bread is going to lay down. And this is you can use a non-stick sheet, which is what I have. I just put parchment paper on there for added barriers. Because my name is Fair Barrier, get it? Okay, and then I just I really don't use this much mayo. That's just what I scooped out. Just a light coating on the outside. Because I'm really just using this mayo for the egg in it. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to lay it just like that. And then I go over here. And I just do it on this side. Okay. And then I top it with some more Parmesan. Okay. So I'm going to finish up this last grilled cheese, and then I'm going to pop them in a 425-degree oven until they crisp up, or I see them starting to get brown on the top. Then I'll flip them and wait for that side to get brown, and then I'll slice into one and let you see the cheese pull on it. So momentarily, I will return. All right, I'm back. So now I'm going to show you my a tomato basil cream soup. And for those of you that have had it before, now you're going to know all the secrets. And that is that it's basically a bunch of pureed veggies. So I've just roasted these vegetables at 425 just until they've started to blister right here. So what I've got here is tomatoes, onions, celery, about 3 or 4 like skinny carrots, a whole red bell pepper, and I think I've got 4 huge cloves of garlic. I don't think there's any other veggie that I've missed. So I just roast this. I just cover this all in olive oil, salt, and pepper. And again, I literally just blister it until it's just mush. Because I'm going to, here, let's see. Okay, good. That carrot's tender. Because I need it tender because I'm going to pour it in a pot. I'm going to pour it in a pot, and I'm going to get my little immersion blender, and I'm going to blend. And then I'm going to add chicken broth, which I just keep powdered chicken bouillon because it's so much more convenient than just buying boxes and boxes of chicken broth. And then some heavy whipping cream, because it's creamy tomato basil soup. So there's where the cream comes in. I usually just use Parmesan, but I don't have a whole lot of that left, so I'm just going to use up my mozzarella. Some basil. I usually have a live basil plant. They were out of that. Some turmeric, because I just like the color and turmeric has anti-inflammatory. It's great for, I take turmeric pills all the time. So I got that for color, and I've got it for its anti-inflammatory properties. And then I just have this tube of tomato paste, and this is so much more handy than having the can of tomato paste that you just throw out, because you can just throw this back in the fridge and use it anytime you need it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my immersion blender out, and I will pour all this together. So just 1 second. All right, I'm back. Poured all of my veggies in this little pot. I don't know how, it's not an incredibly huge pot. This is a little pot that I use to cook like a whole pound of, spaghetti noodles or whatever. But since it's just the 3 of us, I'm not making this for a huge party. I'm just going to use this little pot for my tomato soup tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and blend all of this. And I failed to mention before I left that you can just pour this in a huge food processor and just let it puree. You don't have to have this. But I have this. It's convenient. I don't have to dirty another kitchen appliance. So I'm going to do this. So just 1 second. And you know what? This needs more liquid. So I'm gonna get about 2 cups of water. And since I'm going to be putting the powdered bouillon in here, I'll just go ahead and pour this water and then flavor it with the bouillon momentarily. Okay, so that's good. You need lots of liquid for an immersion blender. Whoops! Okay, I'm just gonna run through this and see if there's any chunks of veggies that I didn't get blended. Okay, so it looks to be fairly smooth. So if you're doing a diet or something that you can't have a lot of fat in, thankfully the plan I'm following allows me to have fats and good carbs. But if you're following a diet that doesn't allow for a lot of room for fat, this is honestly, with the added chicken broth and the basil that we're about to add and the tomato paste and the turmeric, this would be this in itself is a healthy meal, or fat-free, I would think. Apart from the heavy whipping cream and the cheese that we're going to add. So I'm going to add the other ingredients except for the dairy, and then emulsify those as well. So I add about a tablespoon of this tomato paste. Okay, so see this little end right here, this little spike end? If you didn't know, that's to open up your tubes. So I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of that. I usually do half a tablespoon to a whole tablespoon per cup of water. I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon of the bouillon. And then I usually do a teaspoon of this turmeric. Where's my teaspoon? There you are. Turmeric, it's very potent in color. So if you work with fresh, even dried turmeric, be careful that you don't wear a nice shirt or whatnot, because it's gonna stain it. Okay, now for the basil, I love basil. Oh, there we go. There's a little, it smells so good. But this basil feels like it's dried out. I ordered Walmart delivery, so they don't necessarily pick the best ones. So I'm just gonna start off with this one little bunch here. If I emulsify, if I blend this all together and I still feel like, you know, it doesn't have enough basil, I'm gonna pick out those little flowers. Don't worry, I've washed my hands. Y'all know this. I've washed my hands 1,000 times. If I still feel like it needs more basil, then I'll add more. 1 minute. Okay, so let's go with this now. Blend all those spices together. Okay, now at this point you're going to test for the seasoning. Grab a spoon. I go through like 10 spoons while I'm cooking. I need to just get a thing of plastic spoons and make those my tasting spoons. So there's some stuff I haven't blended very well, but I'm just going to taste this. Oh my word, that's good. Okay. Okay, so I'm throwing this spoon away so you don't get nervous. I've grabbed another spoon. I'm going to leave that there for when I taste it next. Okay, so again, let me reiterate. If you're dieting, this right here is perfect just like it is. You would never even know that there wasn't any cream or dairy in this, because look how creamy that looks. That's just the starches from the carrot, and the turmeric has obviously affected the color of this. But that, I mean, it looks like mush, and it looks very orange on camera. I'm looking at my phone right now, but it's a very orangey red color. So it still looks very tomato basil-y. Now, in my opinion, I think it needs more basil. You adjust accordingly. I'm just going to add two big leaves at a time. And from here, I'm going to add half a carton. I don't have the little ones, so I'm just going to add half of this, which would be the equivalent to 1 of the regular half pint. And then I'll blend this up as well. And it's gonna get even creamier. Look at that. tap all that goodness out of that immersion blender. Okay. Here's my little tasting spoon. Oh man. Okay, that's perfect. So now, my husband and Tyler are actually on a job site, so they won't be home for a few minutes. So the beautiful thing about this, I'm not going to add my cheeses just yet because I don't want to sit in the pot and then run the risk of it sinking to the bottom and the cheese getting stuck and burnt to the bottom. So I'm just going to leave this on a low setting on my stove, and right before they get here, or right before we serve this, I'm going to add the cheeses. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it looks like the grilled cheeses are starting to brown on one side. My pitas are certainly done. So I'm going to take these out. Whew, it's hot. And they've just started to melt right on the edge. So then I just take the biggest spatula I have. Oops, okay, hold on. And then I just flip it. And see, the Parmesan has already started to crust here. You see that? You work with the oven enough, your hands get used to it. Okay, let's do this one. Oh, that's pretty. And now this guy. Okay, now I'm going to stick it back in the oven until the crust on the other side has formed. One moment. Again, that's at 425. So now this has started to come to a boil. I'm just going to stir it around, and I'm going to keep this, I'm going to turn this back to low. I turned it up to medium high. And now at this stage, I'm just going to add some Italian seasoning. So apart from Italian seasonings and basil, salt and pepper, that's all I've flavored this soup with. Turmeric doesn't really have a flavor. It's pretty mild. Unless you're taking straight pills and you burp them up, then you will taste turmeric. But just the one little teaspoon in here, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Again, I just like it for the color and for its anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, so we'll return again once I cut into the grilled cheese. And we're back. Soup's done, like I said in the last video. So I just want to show you, look at this crust. Look at the cheese oozing out of there. You can't see it. Oh, look. Oh, hopefully you see it now. I just got these out of the oven. I should have let them set actually before I... Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Am I right? Okay, so now I'll wash my hands. So now that we've done the grilled cheese, our last job of the day is to add, again, usually I just add Parmesan. And you know what? I think no, that's not enough. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this mozzarella. And I just stir it in there till it melts. And that, my friends, is tomato basil. Oops, look at that lump of cheese. Just a classic dinner combo. Tomato basil and grilled cheese. Do it. It's easy.